What's up, guys? This is TV with John Gramer, the Vikings Indexers with John Gramer. I'm your host, John Gramer, and in today's episode, you might notice I'm talking quietly. I'm filming this really late at night. It's almost 11 right now. And I've not gotten to start filming this video yet. So in today's episode, gosh, I got canker sores inside my lips. I'm going to give you my preview of week 3. To start, the Seahawks have become the Vikings' unofficial rivals. The Vikings have seemed to play them every year. We've played them 5 of the last 7 years, which includes 4 in the last 4 years. We played them every year in the last 4 years. We played them in 2015, then 18, 19, 20, then 18, 19, and 20. 2015, then 2018, 2019, 2020, and now 2021. That's 5 of the last 7 years. Yes, I'm including this year. And we've never beaten them. Russell Wilson has never lost to the Vikings ever. To start, when we played them in 2015, we lost 38-7. In 2018, we lost 21-7. In 2019, we lost 37-30. In 2020, we lost 27-26. That was after Mike Zimmer chose to run the ball on 4th down instead of kicking a field goal to be up by 8 points. Now, the Vikings are playing MVP Russ. And we all know Russell Wilson plays like the greatest quarterback to ever breathe for the first quarter of the season. The first couple games of the season, he's always looking like, oh, Russell Wilson is the undisputed MVP, but then he falls off later on. We're playing him in week 3, which is still really early in the season, which means this is MVP Russell Wilson. And I'm kind of scared about that. Now, Bashaud Breeland on Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf just spells out disaster. Bashaud Breeland is dead last in his PFF grade, which is 29 among corners who have played at least 80 snaps this season. His PFF grade is 29. He's had 12 targets. He's allowed 9 this season. He's been targeted and he's allowed a lot of completions this season. And both of those are top 32, which means like they're number 1 caliber, number 1 on for team caliber. Because 32 teams. And as I've said before, I do not like Bashaud Breeland. And that's for this season. He has a PFF grade of 29, which is a little bit above, which slightly improves his PFF grade from week 1, which was like 26, which is still horrible. And Tyler Lockett's PFF grade is 81. DK Metcalf's is 64, but it's like, obviously it's only 2 games into the season. You know, at least in my opinion, DK Metcalf is a top 10 receiver in the league right now. He's so talented. He's gonna improve a lot over the season, or I just end up being completely wrong, and he actually does have a pretty down year this year, which very low chance of that happening. And the Vikings' 11th worst run defense is going against Chris Carson, which shockingly, he played against the Colts in week 1, who have a good defense, then the Titans in week 2, and I don't think the Titans have a good defense, but yet in week 1, he had 16 carries for 91 yards. This is against the Colts. And then in week 2 against the Titans, he gets 11 carries. This is apart from his 2 touchdowns that he scored. He had 11 carries for 29 yards. And then if you include the 2 touchdowns because they were both within 2 yards of the goal line, he had 13 carries for 31 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's 2.4 yards per carry. from when he got 5.7 yards per carry in week 1. And this is against the Titans, a team whose defense is worse than the Colts. Last year, the Colts defense was actually number 1 early on during the season. And I used to think the Titans defense wasn't that bad, but maybe it just dropped off dramatically from 2019 when they might have had their best season. And gosh, my canker sores are really bad. If my lips look weird while I'm talking, it's because of my canker sores, and if I move around my tongue while I'm talking, it's because of my canker sores. It's really uncomfortable right now. But then the Seahawks, they have the second worst run defense. Yes, I said that correctly. The second worst run defense. And they're going up against Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison. First of all, last year Dalvin Cook, he got injured mid game last season with a groin injury, and yet the Seahawks couldn't stop Alexander Mattison or what's his name? Mike Boone. They couldn't stop Mike Boone. And I mentioned during the game it's like we have a running back by committee, but then my older brother reminded me, no, it's really Dalvin Cook and everyone else, which is true. Dalvin Cook was like the second best running back last season. But Alexander Mattison and Mike Boone still torched the defense. And I do not use torched lightly. They actually did play really good against them. But also, Amir Abdullah, who was our third string running back, we actually cut a few days ago. I'm pretty sure it was a few days ago we cut him. No, dang, I try to stick to the script and then I ramble off like that. Yeah, as I said, Alexander Mattison and Dalvin Cook, who dominated the Seahawks defense last year. Let's see. Last thing, the Seahawks have the 11th worst passing defense. We have the 7th worst, just so you know. But they have the 11th worst passing defense, and they're going against Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, already two weapons for them to stop. And then KJ Osborne, who's proving himself as a very reliable number 3 target. Now that they might have to stop 3 guys now. It was already hard enough last year when they had to stop 2 with Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Now they have to stop 3. Well, but then of course the Vikings have the 7th worst pass defense in the league, and they're going against DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So Patrick Peterson is gonna go up against DK Metcalf and then switch off with Tyler Lockett. Not too concerned about that because I do believe in Patrick Peterson, and as you guys know, Bashad Breeland is the one that I don't believe in. I really want Mike Zimmer to try to start Mackenzie Alexander. I looked up Bashad Breeland's stats for week 2. I tried to see his PFF coverage stats from week 2, but all I could find was his season stats. And I saw one from, I think it was like Sports Illustrated, or maybe it wasn't even Sports Illustrated. It was some sports media company. Why did I say that? That sounded weird. Said, mentioned, what if the Vikings started Cameron Dantzler over Bashad Breeland, and instantly I'm like, that won't help. Cameron Dantzler is not good. He's bad. Yes, that sounded like Dr. Seuss. He's not good. He is bad. But that's true. He's bad. And as I said in my first podcast, he had 2 interceptions last season. I was thinking, okay, we have a decent young cornerback, but he didn't do anything else. He did nothing else last season. So I don't really believe in him that much. Neither do I believe in Bashad Breeland, who's, as I said, he's pretty much the worst cornerback in the league. And I'm gonna ignore that at least 80 snaps, because that pretty much means he's the worst of the cornerbacks who have played this season. That's pretty much what that means. Not sure why it's an 80 snap threshold. Maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe there was like some basic statistic that corners that play a lot play at least 40 snaps a game or something. Not sure what it is. But yeah, I guess that'll be it for the podcast today. Make sure to look forward to next week for my week 2 recap of the Vikings versus Seahawks after we lose to the Seahawks again. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, comment, say how you like the video. Hey, John, wow, you're really smart. This is the one Vikings podcast I can actually rely on. It's even better than Jason Smith with Mike Harmon, or The Grist Show, or PA, or Dan Barrero, or The Common Man. You have a really smart, good podcast. I actually got that from Michael Knowles. He comments a lot about just complimenting himself, and I thought about that. Anyways, guys, always remember, the Packers will always suck, and Skol Vikings.